Welcome dear students for the third segment of the grade 10 mathematics class of St. Peter's College, Colombo 4, Negombo branch. Today we are going to learn about the lesson called the algebraic fractions, which you have also learned in grade 9. You know the meaning of the term algebraic fractions, where algebraic fractions are the fractions that consist of algebraic terms or expressions. These fractions have an algebraic term or an algebraic expression, right? That is why we call these fractions as algebraic fractions. Then in grade 9, we have already learned to do simple questions, or we have already learned to do simple operations with related to algebraic fractions. We'll see what are the operations that we have done in grade 9. So if you consider the very first example, here the denominators are different, 5 and 3. So I can convert it into the same denominator. Definitely when you have different denominators, you have to take it to a common denominator. Then here I will multiply this by 3, then the upper term also multiplies by 3. This I will multiply by 5, then the upper number also multiplies by 5. So take the value and multiply. Use brackets when you multiply to avoid mistakes. To avoid your mistakes during multiplication, you have to use brackets. Okay. So 15 over 3x plus 3 plus 10x plus 15. Then here I will take 3x plus 10x is going to be 13x plus 3 plus 15 is going to be 18 over 15, right? That is the answer for the first one. We have just taken the values, right? We have just taken the values. We have just taken the common denominator. We have done the necessary changes to the numerators and then opened the brackets, simplified and kept the final answer. Next, consider the second one. Here the denominators are the same. So no need of taking a common denominator. Both these terms have the same denominator. So take it as it is. Take it as it is. Then for the numerators, no change is done because the denominators are the same. So then don't do any change but use brackets, because if you don't use brackets in this question, what will happen? It will be like this: 5 minus 3x plus 1. Then you will take 5 plus 1 is 6 minus 3x. This is wrong. You can't take like that, because this minus is for both these terms. So when this is coming out, it will multiply by the minus and the signs will change. So there is going to be 5 minus 3x minus it to plus minus 1 over x plus 2. So that is going to be 5 minus 1 is 4, 4 minus 3x over x plus 2. Okay, that is the answer for the second one. Now we are going to mark the answers for the third one. In the third one, again we are going to check whether we have the common denominators. No, we don't have the common denominator, so we need to take the common denominator, which we can take it as 6. So if you are going to take this as 6, 3 has to be multiplied by 2, then the upper term also will be multiplying by 2. That is going to be 2 times x plus 1 plus, here there is no change in the denominator, so keep the numerator as it is because you have the same denominator. No need of changing the numerators then. Then if I take, this is going to be 2x plus 2 plus x plus 3 over 6. So that is going to be 6 down, 2x plus x will be 3x plus 2 plus 3 will be 5. So in this question, these are the things that you have done in grade 9. These are not new things for you. If the denominators are different, you have to take the common denominator. When you are taking the common denominator, the necessary changes should be done to the numerators. That is what you've been discussing in grade 9. The same concept we will apply to this year also, but under two different topics. We'll check what are the different topics we have in grade 10. Now, in this year, what we have is, we have different unequal algebraic denominators. Different algebraic denominators. So look at the first example, right? In the first example, it's very clear that I have two unequal denominators, but this time you have an algebraic term also. So if I consider both, this is A, this is also A, right? That means A is common to both. So take A, which is common to both. I can take A common, so I have taken A. Now look at the two numbers. I have 3 and I have 4. So the common denominator I can take, or the common term I can take within 3 and 4 is going to be 12. So I can take 12. So that means to bring 3 to 12, I have to multiply by 4. To bring 4 to 12, I have to multiply by 3. That means the down numbers I have to multiply. The same change will be done to the top ones. But now here, you have already taken the denominator. So no need of writing the same thing up and down both. For the numerator, you do the changes. That's enough, because denominator we have already taken. So no need of putting multiplication by this and that, no requirement. You have already taken the denominator, so do the changes to the numerators. So this is going to be 4 times 5 is 20. Okay, so 4 times 5 is going to be 20, plus 3 times 3 is going to be 9, that is 29 over 12a. Okay, look at the second one. In the second one, I have x and y squared. They are two different terms, so I have to take them both. I have to take x, I have to take y squared both, because they are two different terms. Then look at the two numbers 3 and 4. They are two different numbers. So what we do is we have to take the common number. We have taken it here as well as 12. So I will take it as 12. Now listen very carefully. What we are going to do is 3 we have converted to 12. That's fine. In this fraction, okay, in this fraction for 3x, you have converted into 12. That means you have multiplied this by 4. Then the upper number also should multiply by 4. Also, you have x here. You don't have y squared here. So you have to give y squared also. Okay. In this one, you have 4. So 4 has been multiplied by 3 to get in 12. So this also should be multiplied by 3. It has y squared. It does not have x. So you have to give x to that. Okay. Then see, if I get the answers, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times y squared is 8y squared minus 5 times 3 is 15. 15 times x is going to be 15x. Okay. So that is the answer. I cannot further simplify, because y squared and x you cannot simplify further. There is no further simplification, because they are coming under two different algebraic expressions, or they are coming under two different algebraic terms. So I can't simplify them more further. So that's enough. You have to stop it from there. Next, look at the third one. In the third one, I am going to take the letters first. So I can take A, I have B squared and B. So I have B squared and B. If you have the same letters but in different powers, remember very carefully, when you are going to take the denominator, you have to select the highest power, or you have to select the largest power. Am I clear? So then from B and B squared, this is the largest power, that is B squared. So I will take B squared to the denominator. Again, I am explaining that part. When you have two powers, right, from this two, when you have two powers of the same letter, right, you have to check whether, you have to check for the larger power, right, you have to check for the larger power. So I have to take the larger power to that. Now look at the numbers. I have 4, I have 3, I have 2. So again here, the best number to be taken is 12. Okay, right. Now I am going to do the necessary changes to the numerators. I am going to do the necessary changes to the numerators. See, 4 has become 12, multiplying by 3, then the upper number also multiplies by 3. You have an A, you don't have a B squared. So for this, I have to give another B squared. You have to multiply 4 times 3 to get it to 12. Then this also have to multiply by 3. I already have a in the denominator, but in the denominator I don't have a B squared. So I have to give it. So I have to multiply the numerators also by B squared. Look at the second term. In the second term, I have to multiply this by 4. Why? 3 has multiplied by 4 to bring it to 12. B squared is already there, but I don't have an A. I don't have an A, so A has to be given. Okay, look at this again. 3 should be multiplied by 4 to make it 12. Then the upper number also have multiplied by 12. Also, A, I have a B squared in the denominator. Check only for the denominator. I don't say, okay, here you have an A. No, it is the numerator. We are checking the denominators. We are equaling the denominator to this. So when you are equaling the denominator to this one, you have to do the necessary changes to the numerator accordingly. Do not consider about what you have and what you don't in the numerator. Check about what you have and what you don't in the denominator. Okay. So look at the next one. Right. Here 2 is there, but I have to multiply that by 6. So this also I have to multiply by 6. A you don't have, so I have to give an A. A you don't have in the denominator. You have A in the numerator, but you have to check for the denominator, not the numerators. B I have, I need another B to make it B squared. So I have to again multiply by B, because you have a B already. No? That B when multiplied by B will form B squared. Okay, that is why I have to give it another B. Then see, 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times B into B squared is B cube. There is 1B and 2B. So altogether 3 B's will be formed. Plus 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times A squared is 8A squared. Plus 6. A into A is A squared into B. That is 6A squared B. You cannot further simplify. Nothing can be taken out or nothing can be divided. Right? So be very careful on that. If you can't divide no further, you should not divide. Keep the answer as it is. Most important section or the most important segment is, now when you look at these terms, the changes you have to do to the denominators should be properly done in the numerators as well. That is the most important part you need for this sort of questions. Check whether you have done the changes for the numerators properly. Right? That is very important. Okay. Moving on to the next part. Look whether you understand this part clearly. Look whether you have understood it properly, this part. If it is done, we are going to the next part. Okay. Right. The next part. Right. Now look at these two fractions. Now we are learning about simplifying fractions with unequal binomial denominators. Earlier we discussed simplifying fractions with unequal algebraic terms. Here we are going to discuss about fractions simplifying with unequal binomial denominators. Now see, in this fraction if I take, I have p plus 1 and I have p plus 5. You can also take the least common multiple, like I said in the previous ones. You can take the least common multiple and get, okay, what is the common denominator? Without using least common multiple, it's a longer method. Not a longer method, you can do it, but it takes time. No need of taking that time. Just check for the terms they have given you. Right? So take the two terms, then take p plus 1, p plus 5. Both the terms I am going to take. If you take the least common multiple of these two, you will get this answer. But no need of that. Here I have p plus 1, here I have p plus 5. So both I am taking down. Okay. When you have to simplify fractions with unequal binomial denominators, always remember, take every denominator together. Okay. Then check for which fraction you don't have what. Look at the first one. For the first one, I have p plus 1. I don't have p plus 5. So I have to give p plus 5 to that. So 1 times p plus 5. For the second one, I have a p plus 5. I don't have p plus 1. So I have to give a p plus 1 to that. That means I am multiplying the denominators, but I don't want to show it because already I have taken the common denominator. No need of showing it again. Right? So here I have p plus 1. I don't have p plus 5, so I will give it. Here I have p plus 5. I don't have p plus 1, so I am giving it. So that also will be multiplied by p plus 1. Now take out the answers. That is going to be p plus 5 plus p plus 1 when you open the bracket. P plus 1 times p plus 5. So that is going to be p plus p is going to be 2p plus 5 plus 1 is going to be 6 over p plus 1 times p plus 5. If you if you can simplify this more further, you can simplify. You can take 2 out. If I take 2 out, this will become 2 times p plus 3 over p plus 1 times p plus 5. Okay. Check this very carefully. I have 2 different denominators. Take both the denominators. Okay. And then check for each fraction which term is not there. If I consider this one, I have p plus 1. I don't have p plus 5, so I am giving p plus 5. For this one, I have p plus 5, so I have to give p plus 1. Then they will multiply separately. We have taken those 2 parts. Open the brackets, simplify. You will get a simplified answer. If you can further simplify, you have to further simplify the given value. Okay. Right. Look at the next one. Here again, now you have 2 different denominators, x plus 3, x plus 4. Now what you have to do is consider the common denominator, that is x plus 3, x plus 4. Same denominator, equal denominators, not equal, different denominators. I have taken both. Right? Now what you are going to do, check whether what has what and what not. Here I have x plus 3. What I don't have is x plus 4. So give x plus 4 to this one. Okay. In the second, so I can write 4 times x plus 4 minus 3 times. In this I have x plus 4. I don't have x plus 5. So I have to give, x plus 3. So I have to give x plus 3. I have to multiply this by x plus 3. Right. Now if I open the bracket, right, now if I open the bracket, 4x plus 16 minus 3x minus 9 over x plus 3 times x plus 4, right, then 4x minus 3x is going to be x plus 16 minus 9 is going to be 7 over x plus 3 times x plus 4. Okay, that is the answer, right? Check very carefully. What I did was I took the common denominators, check whether for this fraction I don't have x plus 4, so I have to give x plus 4 to that. For this fraction I don't have x plus 3, so I have to give x plus 3 to that. Then I have to multiply, I have to put the brackets properly, then open out the brackets properly. So 4x plus 16 minus 3x minus 9. See, that is why I am asking you to put the brackets, or else signs won't be changed. Then I have to take the simplification, and after that I will take the denominator, and then the final answer you will obtain. Right. Moving to the next part. Before that, check whether you understand this section so that I can move to the next part. Right. Moving to the next part of the lesson. Under the same topic, we have another different part, that is, now see, you have got quadratic equation, quadratic expressions. Equation, it becomes an equation when you have 0 equal to 0. Here you don't have an equal to 0 value, you have only an expression. So what we do, when you get a quadratic expression, you have to factorize it. Remember very carefully, if you see I can further factorize, you have to factorize that term. Okay, so x squared minus 3x minus 10, I can factorize, break into x and x. Okay, I explained this shorter method in quadratic equations, how to factorize this in quadratic equations in shorter method. Now see, for 10, I can take 2 and 5. Those are the best two numbers to taking 2 and 5. So now see, I have minus 10. So 2 times 5 has to be 10, but minus. That means one should be plus and the other should be minus. For that, I ask you to check this sign, this symbol. Give this symbol, the symbol in the middle, to the larger number and give the other symbol to the smaller number. So see, I have converted. Even if you take the longer method of simplifying, still you will obtain the same answer, right? The longer method. Now I'm going to recreate the question, that is 1 over x plus 2 plus 1 over x plus 2 times x minus 5. After that, I will take the common denominator. Now see, x plus 2 is common to both, so you can easily take it. But also, I will have to take x minus 5. From all the types of terms, take everything in the denominators. From all the types of terms, take everything in the denominators. Then now what I have to do is check whether which has what. In this fraction, I have x plus 2. I don't have x minus 5. So x minus 5 should be given to that. But here, nothing should be done because both x plus 2 and x minus 5 are in the denominators. So you don't have to do any change to the upper one. You can just take it as 1. Because you already have the two denominators. You already have the two denominators. Therefore, no change should be done. Okay. Then x minus 5 plus 1 is minus 4 over x plus 2 times x minus 5. That is the final answer. What I wanted to explain was here, you need to factorize quadratic expressions whenever you get one. Okay. Right. We're moving to the next question. Now in this question, you must observe you have another factorizable answer. That is x squared minus 1. X squared minus 1 are difference of two squares. X squared minus 1 are difference of two squares that I can break as x plus 1 times x minus 1. I can break it as x plus 1 times x minus 1. Now I can redo this expression like this, x plus 1, x minus 1 over x plus 3 minus 1 over x plus 1. I can redo the question in that way. How? I have separated x squared minus 1 into factors. Then what I'm supposed to do, take the common denominator as x plus 1 times x minus 1, because x plus 1 is common to both and the other one also I will have to take. Here no change is done because x plus 3 already has both the terms. X plus 3 already has both the terms, so do not do any change to x plus 3 minus x plus 1 is there. You need to give another value. X plus 1 is there, but you don't have x minus 1. So you need to give x minus 1 to this term. Then what happens? Here I will get x minus 1 also. Now open the brackets. There's going to be x plus 1, x minus 1, x plus 3 minus x, minus into minus plus 1. So x will cancel because x minus x is 0. Then see, 3 plus 1 is 4 over x plus 1, x minus 1. That is how you do the question. See, in this slide, what I want to explain you is that whenever there are terms which you can further factorize, you have to break them into factors. You should break them into factors and then proceed with the answers. Okay, right. So check whether you understand this part as well. Right, we are moving to the last part. In this section, I am not going to explain you this question because you have already learned a question like that. Small thing I want to remind you, here you can see you can break this into factors, that you can break it as x plus 1, x minus 1. That is, wherever you have an expression where you can break them into factors, you have to factorize them for sure, right? So you have to break them into factors. After that, you can take the normal procedure and do. What I want to explain you in this question is this specially. I'm changing the question a bit. I'm going to change this as x minus 5. That is because that is what I want to show you how to do. Right? I'm changing the question into x minus 5. So here I have 8 over x minus 5 minus 3 over 5 minus 6. This is the question now you are being given. Now you can see in the denominator, here I have x minus 5, here I have 5 minus x. In algebraic, least common multiple, we have discussed, if you take 5 minus x, you can change it to x minus 5 by taking the minus value out. If you take the minus value out, x will remain inside. See, minus x, minus into minus, plus 5. Same thing, I can convert when I take minus out, then you can convert this part to this one. But you should remember, when you convert this side, because this minus comes and multiplies with this minus comes and multiplies with this minus into minus will become plus in the next form. So now when I am writing the next section, it is going to be 8 over x minus 5. This is going to be 3 over, now I have converted that into x minus 5. But what is the difference? Earlier it was a minus value, now it has converted into a plus value. So this is the difference you will get when you are doing this. Remember, in these sort of questions where you have x minus, where you have the same numbers with minus in the middle but interchanged, you can again interchange it using this concept of least common multiples. Okay, now I can take the common denominator as x minus 5, then 8 plus 3, I can take the answer directly. So then I can take the answer as x plus 3 is going to be 11. So that is the final answer. What I wanted to explain you is that when you have the same letters or the same numbers or same algebraic terms with interchanged values, when they are interchanged and you have a subtraction in the middle, you have to turn it again, right? You can turn it using this concept. When you turn it, the middle sign will change. See, the minus sign has already changed into the plus sign. So 8 plus 3 is 11 over x minus 5. Okay. So these are the things that you have to learn under algebraic fractions. Under algebraic fractions, there are little things for you to remember at the very beginning, saying that no change is done to the numerators when the denominators are the same. When you have the same denominators, you don't have to do any change to the numerator. Second, when taking the common denominator and changes are done to the numerators, use brackets to avoid mistakes. That is why I asked you to put brackets. I told you, especially when you get a minus number in front, right? When you open the bracket, it is going to be difficult. It is sometimes there can be mistakes when you misinterpret the signs. So be careful. Use brackets to avoid those mistakes. Then, if the denominator can be factorized, it should be factorized before taking the common denominator. If you have a quadratic term, let's take like this, or see, it can be both quadratic or difference of two squares. Either it can be a difference of two squares terms. You have to factorize them, then you can take the value and then you can find the answer, right? Then only you can take a common denominator once after you factorize the quadratic terms and the difference of two squares expressions. So that is all we have to learn under algebraic fractions, right? So I will see you on the next week's lesson. Till then, thank you and God bless you.